Hello everyone, this is Javier, just checking in with y'all to give you a teachable moment. I was gonna do some editing of a reference for my portrait for my demo, and I figured this would be a teachable moment. So here we are. I brought up Photoshop, you see, so I was loading, and now it has finished loading, and I am going to hit File, New. Over here too, you can see there's hotkeys, and so hotkeys are basically shortcuts for you to be able to bring up these tools and not have to hit File and New. You can just hit on the keys, which it makes life a lot easier and a lot quicker. But for the purposes of teaching, I am going to show you the long way. So File and New, and it gives you this menu. And what I do is it's set here, but usually I set it to 8.5 by 11 inches and hit the correct orientation. Sometimes it'll be switched, and so you just want to make sure that it's the right orientation. I'm going to go vertical, so that is correct. Resolution is okay. It's actually pretty high for what I'm doing, but it's going to be fine because it's going to give me better quality for the poor quality of the picture that I'm using. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So hit create. And that's my color swatch. So if I was actually using colors for something, I could reference any color from there. Here's the blank document that I got. And so now I'm ready for my photo. So I'm gonna toggle between images and get my reference image. Make this smaller so I can pull this in easier. I'll pull that in and it'll give you that. And so to get rid of this black area, I'm gonna enlarge this. Back in the day, in the old Photoshops, you had to hit Shift and then pull this, extend this. And now you do not have to. So Photoshop's made our life a lot easier by doing it this way. And the reason you had to do that is because it held the proportions. Otherwise, it would distort the proportions and make whatever reference image you are using null and void, essentially, because it's going to mess it up. Okay, once you get it to the where you like it as far as size, you could hit enter. And now I'm going to go back over here to my selection tool, or my move tool apparently. It's a selection tool, whatever. I want to pull this up a little bit. There we go. And first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go into image, adjustments, and then because it's black and white, I don't have to worry about like hues or color balance. So I can just go into levels, and that'll give me the gray value scale essentially, or the value scale, the value range. And so I want to bring out some more of the variances in this old photo reference. Oh, by the way, this photo reference is of my abuelita Maria, or Mami Maria as we affectionately called her. And she was my dad's mom. She passed away in 2012. And I have been a terrible grandson and not done a portrait of her. So I figured no time like the present, since I'm telling y'all to do portraits of people that you care about or have made a lasting impression on your life. Figured I should too. I like the darkness of everything for that, as far as that goes. And so you could see the dark's got a little bit darker, the contrast. And you just want to adjust that. And let me go back to that actually. My image, adjustments, levels. And as long as you have this little check mark in here, you're fine to play, you know. If you don't, then you don't know what's going on. But as long as you have that checked, you can see it before you click yes, essentially. So like if I got too dark, like, oh, okay, I know it's too dark. That seems legit to me. So hit OK. That gives us this. And now I'm going to come over here to my eyedropper tool, which samples a color, and in this case, a palette. the hair, and I'm gonna use the brush tool. And as you see, there's tutorials here on the new Photoshop. So if you don't know Photoshop, it's always good to use those tutorials to get a better sense of what you're doing. And then got my brush tool. Now I'm gonna come up here, size, and for some reason it's not letting me. You see how it gives me the like no sign. So it's telling me it's not raster sized, but now by clicking on it, apparently it raster sized it. So do I like that size? Yes, I can go a little bit larger, but I feel like that brush size tool will give me a little bit more control than going a little bit larger, and you have to like avoid going outside of certain areas. The hardness is the opacity, and so you can change, and the more you go with hardness, the more opaque it's going to be, and the less on the hardness it's going to be more opaque, or more translucent, sorry, transparent, blah blah blah. All the damn art terms. Okay, so go 15. I feel like, let's try that out. Go a little bit stronger in the opacity and will. So let's go 70. You could also type it in. See, it's giving me trouble. So 70. Enter. And now I have my brush tool. I'm gonna fill in this area. And I am not a photo restorer, so I'm not trying to get this perfect. I just want to get a rough sense of how her hair looked and filling in areas that are bothering me. So it's looking good so far. Looks like that extended out here to show these areas. And if you want to go larger in the image, you can hit Control and Control spacebar, and that'll give you the magnifying glass. Or you can come down here, and it gives you the zoom tool, and you can hit that, and it'll do the same thing. And then I'm gonna go back to my eyedropper tool and select the shaded area, and then go back to my brush tool and fill it in. And that is way too opaque, so I'm gonna hit Control Z again. Get used to hitting that Control Z, or you can go Edit, Undo Brush Tool. But again, there's my hotkeys, so I know that's what it is, and it will go back quite a bit of ways, especially if you have your history out. You can go back, I believe, pretty far, if not all the way back to where you started. But you obviously don't want to do that, so you just go back to the point where you first initially messed up. All right, I'm going to bring down the opacity on here to nothing, a little bit. 9's good. Okay, and we'll click on here, and you can see how it went overlapped a little bit on that black. That's fine, because it's going to be a little hazy. I'm going to clean up this area. And go back to my dropper tool. I'm going to hit that part of the forehead. Go back to my brush tool. Clean this up. And I'm just going back and forth until I get an area to where I like it. And that is not the best, but I think that looks good for now. And so now I can hit Control, Space, and Alt, and that'll give me the minus magnifying glass, and so I can zoom out that way. Or if I was back up here, I could hit Control 0, and that'll bring me back to that state. or I can hit view and zoom in or zoom out that way. Okay, so it gives you a few different options to, but again, you want to get used to learning these hotkeys because it'll save you a gang of time. Okay, I'm gonna click back out here. I'm gonna go back to my selection tool, or what do they call it? A move tool, I think. You can scroll back on it and it'll tell you the name. Move tool. Okay. And this is not the best reference. Again, I am not a photo restorist. I don't even think that's a word. But I think that's good enough for my reference and for my photo of what I want to do for my tribute piece for my abuelita. I hope this helps. Oh, let me actually finish up with actually saving this file, just so we know that you know every single part of this. And if you are bored out of your mind by this point, you can go ahead and click off, because I'm just going to save it. So it gives me a couple options here on your computer, on the cloud. Definitely save it to your cloud, but I'm going to save it to my computer first. So I'm going to hit in pictures and hit what do you have reference? JPEG. And I actually did one earlier, but I messed up. That's why it's already in there. But if not, you could put it in here and then I'm going to save it in pictures. And I'm going to go here to this drop down menu and save it as a JPEG and hit save. And again, I already did it earlier but messed up, so I had to do this redo this video with less ums, because it's gonna become a drinking game. And so hit yes in this case, and then it'll give you this option of the image quality. And this is basically probably a little bit high for this image, but I want it to be a little bit better reference image than less. But you don't want to go anything higher than 8 or 9, because then it'll extend the size of the file and that will take up a lot more room. So that's fine. I'm gonna hit OK. Looks great to me. And now I have my reference image. So definitely use that if it helps, and if not, then I apologize for making you sit through part of this. Hope you all are well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.